I keep changing gears on what I want to do next. I will get to the front bumper, the R model apron, but I was actually waiting on hood pins because you can't actually get that front bumper on without taking off the hood latch assembly. So I'll get into that another time. But for now, I'm pulled the seats out, as you can see. Cleaning everything out. I'm gonna clean the floor pans because I've been driving with them without any carpet. All I did was install the rears when I first got my carpet kit. Now that I have my shifter boot, I'm going to get the carpet laid in there, cut that out, and get my shifter boot in place, and getting this look a little more buttoned up. All right, first step, installing the front portion of the carpet. Doing the same thing I did with the rear, which worked out fantastic. It completely molded the carpet to where it needed to be. Might seem overkill to some, I know. That's just the way I am. So I'll let this sit overnight and get it all molded in. Get that memory set into it. And then I'll start trimming away. All right, I finally got all of the carpet installed. Got the shifter boot in place. It looks good, I think. But yeah, everything came out really nice. I finally tucked up those hanging wires. Been hanging ever since I've had the car. Actually, ever since I ripped out the radio. So I'm getting ready to deal with the hood pins, get that out of the way so I can actually start working on the bumper. The latch has to be removed in order to install the bumper. So this here impedes the bumper from being able to slide into place. And you remove that by installing hood pins. So I went ahead and did some alignment on the hood and fenders to get that pretty dialed in all the way around before I start determining the position of the hood pins. Got it pretty darn close. Now this can here, there's a little bit of a gap here because the can is actually moved out. There's a little bit of a lip over here. So that's a separate issue from the hood in relation to the fender. So if you just look at this gap, fender and hood, pretty darn close. Now that I got that all dialed in, time to break out the hood pins and start getting it done. All right, so here's the hood pin set that I chose. You can go cheap, $35, $40, up to $300 for these hood pin sets. The ones that are most common that you see that resemble like the originals, the bottom plate is just a very thin piece of stainless steel or chrome metal, right? Pretty weak, pretty flimsy. Didn't really like it that much, so I wanted something better. There are some awesome ones, but I'm not also gonna spend $150 to $300 on stinking hood pin sets, right? So what I found was this Drake set. And it was a really happy medium. This was like 85 bucks. Okay. So double your standard entry-level hood pin set, but way cheaper than if you go crazy on it. What I like about it is it's not just a flat piece of flimsy steel or stainless steel metal. It actually has a raised profile to it, and it is actually honed out of aluminum. I just think it looks pretty darn cool. All right. And also how the pin slides through on these sets vary differently as well. This one has the channel built into it instead of just going directly through the pinhole, right? So that's what I ended up with. And then it comes with a, you know, washer, and then it has this raised formed piece of plastic that goes inside it as well. So we'll see what happens. All right, so got my holes drilled out. This is where the hood rests were. Drilled out 1/2 inch, both sides. So one thing that I had to do was I put an angle finder and level on the pins and see how off they were, and they were pretty close. So with the pins in it, I just, this is the one that I really worked on, is I just kind of had to push it forward a little bit, and then both of them I kind of adjusted the up and down, the vertical. So just to get those in sync, aligned as much as possible before you start drilling. One thing just to keep in mind. And now I'm gonna use some paint, put it on here to get a mark on my hood and go from there. Just a little dab of paint. And you can see a little mark. Same thing over here. All right, so I got my first holes drilled out. So if you can see in there, and there's my other little paint dimple. And I'm gonna drill that out. All right, got my pilot hole set on each side. Now I'm gonna plow through it with a 1/2 inch and use the step bit as needed. So I need to open it up a little bit more, but as you can see, the hole is pretty much dead nuts on. I've seen a lot of other folks do it where they just plow through it and the hole is like completely favoring one side of the pin and it looks terrible. Got everything punched through and you can see the hole's in a really good position. And this one here opens and, awesome. Opens and closes just fine. And just a little preview. That's what it's gonna look like. Something like that. And of course, a pin. Almost done. All right, I have one installed. I don't have the cable attached yet, but I have the first one completely installed. It's got the washers in it, and the spacer, and looks pretty sweet. So here's washer, rubber washer, and spacer. All right, so I got my pins attached, the cables. I experimented with a few different options, going all the way back here, maybe coming up on the top of the grill. Basically what I was looking at is how the loop looked when the hood was down. And this to me was the best. I did use these self-tapping metal screws and I think they look really cool. I like the flat head on them. I did drill a pilot hole just to make sure that these didn't walk around. But yeah, I think they look really good. Lined it up, put it on the actual horn bracket, as you can see. And so I didn't have to drill any holes in the core support or anything like that, or in the grill. I'll go ahead and put the hood down and show you the finished product. All right, there you have it. All done. I think the position of the cables and how they loop came out perfectly. Again, these are, what do you call them? The Drake hood pin set. Looks good. Now, we can start working on the front bumper.